Hello everyone. Super good morning to everybody. How's everybody doing? This is Kevin Chan here, 8:30 in the morning today, and we are gonna go and take a look at some of the essential for BaZi reading right now. Right, so we are actually going into reading BaZi, and since you guys has been introduced to the world of Trinity and also Yin-Yang, right? Now you're gonna see that BaZi actually have a lot of built-in Yin-Yang component in the BaZi, and you should have some awareness of all these yin-yang components so that it make your reading a little bit more structured, a little bit more targeted. So super good morning for those of you who have joined me, right? So I see that there's a Delmo 76 there. Right, Pekpo is always around, thank you. Simons, I can see you. Nasimpa, Kelvin, Eve, MS, Carol, right? So good morning everybody, right? So how's your day has been going? Right, today is a Wednesday, Thursday already. It's almost finished the week. One more week is almost gone already. How has all the what we call goal chasing has been now, right? So I just completed all the write-up for the April's forecast. Right, it's going to be published in the newsletter first. So if you have not yet, please go and sign up for the newsletter, right? So pretty simple, right? So come, let's move into looking at today's, right? So then as usual, Telegram. You want up-to-date information, you want to download certain stuff, or throw it into the Telegram for you to download, right? So and then just now told you about the newsletter, that's going to be talking about the forecast for April, right? So if you want to follow the forecast for April, it has been scheduled for publication, right? So towards the tail end of the month of this particular month, you will start to publish out, right? So you can read it first before we go into doing this on live into the community channel, which is the Facebook channel, on top of my head there. It's always on top of my head. Yeah, today the lighting not strong enough. I think it's time to buy some new lighting. Let me see whether I can adjust or not the lighting. Yeah, nope, right? So nope, the lighting not good, cannot hit the behind me. Okay, never mind, right? So maybe a time for me to buy a new light. It's always like that, guy. All right, so come, let's move in and take a look at this, right? So as usual, if you are not gotten your BaZi chart plotted yet, since you're gonna learn how to read the BaZi chart, right? So by the way, this is called BaZi chart, right? The one that you look at there, right? So those are called a BaZi chart, right? So this is what you're gonna take a look. Now BaZi chart is nothing more than taking your Gregorian birth date and convert it back to how the Chinese would have written the date in the olden day. So if you pay attention to it, it is still a structure of year, month, day, and hour. Nothing more than that. It's just that the olden Chinese represent the hour by using 60 pillar system instead of the it's actually the Arabic numbering system. Or it's not even the Roman numeral, although it's called a Roman calendar, right? So it's called a Roman Gregoric calendar, but it's not using the Roman, right? So it's basically using the Arabic numbering system, right? So it's instead of using that system, they just convert it back to how the olden day the character would have been written, right? So what happened here is that we are reading the dates for information. That is basically what a BaZi is doing, right? A BaZi chart is nothing more than telling you at the point where you are born, right? The time frame that you are born, what are the constellation, what are the star distribution at that point in time, right? So because the 60 pillar system is actually tracking all the constellation and also star, so at that point in time, what is actually influencing you at that exact point of time? So it's like at the time that you are born, what are the things that was given to you, right? So different people born in different date and times are given different stuff, right? This is like, I usually say that this is like the capital that is been given to you. Like if you start a business, this is your capital. So how much capital you use, what sort of resources are given to you, right? So this one you can see that, it's like parent leaving stuff for the children. Some parent leave a lot of stuff to the children. Some parent leave nothing to the children. Some parents leave a lot of debt to the children. Right. So that is the entire theory about reading about BaZi, is where is your starting point. Right? Does your starting point actually dictate your ending point? Not necessary, provided over time you make the necessary changes that is required. right? So today we're going to learn about the yin yang of the BaZi chart. So the BaZi chart contains a lot of yin yang component in it. So it follows very closely the Chinese metaphysics way of like taking a look at situation and taking a lot of things, right? So every single thing in Chinese metaphysics basically has a yin yang component, right? So if you're following me long enough, please do not translate the yin yang as good and bad. Right, it's nothing to do with good and bad. They are just characteristic that has been placed into it, right? So it's something that is distributed towards a spectrum, right? It's a spectrum of things, you know. So it's like you know, being it's like tall and short. Does being tall is better than being short, or does being short is more advantage than being tall? No such thing. Tall means short means short, right? Tall and short means that if you put each other, you know, one is front, one is back, one is left, one is right. That's all, yeah. Right, nothing more than that. So because you cannot determine something is good or bad without a circumstance, right? Without putting in a circumstance, you do not know whether it's good or bad. Good or bad can only be determined when an actual specific situation or circumstance is presented. Then only you know whether that characteristics is good or bad. Like for example, heavy light. Is heavy better or light better? Right, if you're falling, you want to be light. Right. If you're being blown away, you want to be heavy. So you can see, is the circumstance decide good or bad? Right, it is not the state itself. Right, it doesn't. Right, so first of all, you need to understand first, BaZi chart, nothing more than a date represented written in a solar calendar 60 pillar manner. That's all only, right? Don't find that this is, you know, like magical formula or whatever it is, you know. It is just a representation of a date. So it's just like, you know, if you go different country, you look at how the date system is actually being written, you know. So let's say that you go to Korea. Korea got their own written language. So if you look at a pure Korea calendar, the one that without number one, Chinese also is the same, you know. Chinese, if you take a look at the lunar calendar, the one that Choi, Chosam, Chosei one. That one, if you go and read that one also, you know, you're gonna get blurred case, because why? You just don't understand how they're representing. It's not that cannot, but once you learn how they're representing, it's actually pretty easy to read. Right, Kana is basically right. So now the first level of yin yang in a BaZi chart, if we take a look at it, right? So this BaZi chart is called Natal BaZi chart. Four pillar which represent the year, month, day, and also hour, and each of these, you know, is break down into two portions. The heaven, which we call the stem, right? So by the way, right, so it's called heaven stem, we call it the stem. Right, again, these are just naming convention, right? So the stem represent the yang component in a BaZi chart. Yang component here mean that obviously can be seen, obviously can be identified. Right, these are four things which is obviously seen, obviously identified. So if you know what each pillar basically means, it's easier for you to know that, right? So in terms of looking at this person, the year basically mean the public persona, right? So the year is the public persona or the social circle quotient, you want to call it. So the Jia Wood, right? So if you know the characteristic of the Jia Wood, if you're studying BaZi, right? If you're studying BaZi, if you know the characteristic of the Jia Wood. So this is the first impression that people has on this particular person. Now, question, is this the true person or not? Usually not. Right? This is what is seen on the outside, right? So in a normal automobile car example, this is like the outer shell of the car. The most identifiable portion of a car. So how do you know a Tesla is a Tesla? Tesla got a certain shape. Tesla have a certain shape. BMW have a certain shape. Mercedes has a certain shape. Many times it's actually not too difficult to identify the shape of the car. Makes sense, right? That's the easiest one, right? So, you know, if you move it on to the month, this is what people see when you are at work, right? Which is a bit of a deeper level, right? So it's closer to you. So this is what they see at work. Right, so this is what they see when you are with your peers, right? So this is a bit more real type of you, right? The year one usually is the most pretentious version of you. The most pretentious version that you see of you, right? So it's basically on the year, right? So, you know, this one month is usually in a car example is called the internal engine. Okay, the internal engine, suspension system, you know, those things that's inside the car. Inside is inside the car that you cannot readily see too much, but it does drive the performance of the car. Right, so like this one is like maybe the engine sound that you hear, from the car, but you can still identify what car it is from the engine sounds of it, right? So whatever is on the top is what we call obviously can be seen, right? So then the day is the true you. The day is actually the true you, right? So the true you, who are the one who's supposed to know the true you? Only those people who are very close to you. So in the olden day, aka called a spouse, your wife, your husband is the person who's supposed to know you. So that's why the palace that is below the day is called a spouse palace. It is actually not your spouse, it's just your spouse palace. Okay, right? A lot of people mistaken that the what we call the branch under the day is actually your spouse. No, the idea is that is somebody who know you deeply. Right, so if you take a look at it, right, the people who doesn't know you at all, which is your social circle, social circles not supposed to know you a lot. They only knows you hi bye. They only sees you, once in a while, right? So they only see your appearance. So it's like a strangers walking around the street. Stranger walking around the street, you can only judge them by the book, man. Judge them by the cover, how they dress, how they dress, how they present themselves, how they talk under normal circumstances. You can only judge them by that. You don't know anything about that particular fella. Right, so then when you talk about the month is career, so probably you're a bit more closer to this person. You get to see how the person work, right? The career side of it, how the particular person work, right? So it's that, right? So the inner side of it is the day, and then the most inner side of it is basically your internal thoughts, internal thinking. This is where your aspiration, all those kind of stuff come in. It's basically in the hours, right? So the 4 component on top is the 4 easiest to identify components. So if you're doing a reading, right, talk about all the 4 on top, usually the other person is already very, oh yeah lo, it's like that. These are the obvious one. People around usually would notice this already. So if you are doing a public reading, got a few friends around one, when you describe the person, you just have to describe the stem one. Right? There's only 10 of them. So, if you know how to describe, the 10 stem, then, great lah. Right? So, it's like, you talk about, Jiawut, usually, they say, oh, this is a very honorable person. Right? So you say that, you are type of person, who is very honorable. Then the friend will, a lot of them will say, oh, yeah lo. Right? Like that lah. Right? If you're doing a reading, that's what you want to do only, right? So it's very, very simple. Right? So then you have what we call the branch, right? So the branch is basically the yin part of it. Now, yin part here means that it's a bit more difficult to identify. So if you want to take a look, put it into English, the yang part, which is the stem, is usually described as what we call characteristics. Whereas the yin part, the branch, is what we call tribe. Right? So tribe require a little bit more understanding, then only you can understand what is a tribe of a person. So those are, something that is inside a person, which is hidden, not too easily identifiable. So everybody have 2 persona. Your public persona, there are 2 portions. One portion is the portion that you show people. Another portion is the portion that usually only people who have spent a little bit more time with you, then only you show that portion out. Right? So those are basically called your branches. Right, to the core, but nothing wrong with it, man. So if top and bottom have a connection, then this person is a little bit more what we call true. In BaZi chart, we call pure. Right, in BaZi chart, is basically called pure. Right, so pure means that the characteristic and also the tribe of the person is in sync. Right, so which means that chances of this particular person's being a bit more on the hiding stuff side. Now, hiding stuff is not wrong one. I'll just tell you first. Because in the olden day, again, everything is about survival. You don't go out and show people everything. You go out and show people everything, people's gonna do bad on you. So you always keep certain things, inside, and only certain group of people who have spent way more time with you will be able to show you. Right, so that is basically the branch. Right? So can I say this one got yin and yang already? So top obviously can be seen. Bottom not so obvious, required some time to understand and discover. Right, so both of them are basically just characteristic triad. You want to call whatever it is. Right, so depend on what level that you're reading. So of course, the animal sign contains the element inside. Right, so in the olden day, you don't actually list down all the hidden stem, you don't list it down. When you write a BaZi chart, that the 8 character is, that's it. That's all that you're written down. That's all you get in an 8 character. There's no hidden stem inside. Okay. So the hidden stem is what you're supposed to remember. Oh, those are elements that is assigned into the animal sign. So in actual reading is that you are reading the upper stem against the lower stem. It's not against the animal sign one. There's actually nothing much to read in the animal sign. So another thing that some people might get a bit confused is that the element that is being attached to the animal sign. Right, so the element that's attached to the animal, so sometimes it has nothing to do with the what's the actual element that has to do with hiding inside of the things. Like for example, if we take a look at the goat, right? So the goat has a what we call a G-earth in it, right? So the goat has a G-earth in it. Whereas when you take a look at the dragon has a Wu-earth in it, right? So both of them are earth, right? How do you know whether it's a G-earth or a Wu-earth? You have to go and remember. Right, branch below the person traits, you mean triad traits, whichever that you want to call it, right? So it's basically just characteristic that is not so easily identified. Characteristic means that the fella is black hair. You give 10 fella watching the fella also, is black hair, right? But if you look at it, the hair is fashionable. Okay, what is fashionable? Like for example, long hair, right? Long hair is fashionable. No? To certain people, yes. If you are from my era got this Hong Kong Japanese star, which called Takeshi. Kim Seng Mo, Jing Chen Wu, very handsome fella, always long hair. Long hair, that fella is okay lah. Right? If I go long hair, I will probably look very feminine. Wouldn't be good, isn't it? Right? So that is, when you talk about, obvious yang thing, right? So obvious yang thing, when you think is yang, obviously can see one, right? Obvious can see, lor. But this is yin thing, right? Yin thing probably require a little bit more subtle understanding. So different people got different understanding, they got different conclusion. Right? That's all only lah. Short hair better. Hello, fella. This is Malaysia where our temperature is constantly 38 degrees. Long hair, you're suicidal, really. So it's not easy to survive with long hair here in Malaysia, especially when you're sweating. Pity those fella who have long hair, right? So now that first level of yin and yang, you take a look, it's actually top versus bottom. Top is basically the yang portion, bottom is basically the yin portion. So the yin portion require a little bit more subtle understanding. The top yang portion, you can already know. So if you want to do a reading, if this is a public reading, so you might just want to read the 3 fella on the top. That's it, done. Don't waste your time, because the thing at the bottom is going to have a little bit of a what we call contentment and disagreement. But if you are just reading it in front of that particular person, reading the top is of no use. You read the bottom. If it's just one-to-one particular person, read the bottom part of it. That person will understand the bottom part, because the bottom part will belong to himself. These are things that he know, outside people doesn't know. So if you talk about the bottom, then the fella is more connected. It's like, oh yes, this is me, right? This is me, right? So when you talk about from outside point of view, those people are gonna say, oh yes, that is him, right? But whatever is being described outside is not actually what the particular person is anyway. It's what he display out for people to see. It's like a character, you want to call persona. Right, so again, public, you talk about the stem. In private, you talk about the branch. Okay, that form the connection a bit more better. So, but if the fella is trying to execute something, you need to basically look at the stem. Because why? Again, when you're engaging with outside world, people only care about what they see. They don't care about what is internally inside you. Okay, that's how the world works lah. Right, cute cat. Cute, big, what we call this is like between a Rottweiler and a golden retriever. Right, both of them are dog. Both of them can be trained exactly the same. Both of them are loving. Right, but why people fear Rottweiler and feel very connected to the golden retriever because of the look, because of appearance. You know, the Rottweiler look ugly. Ta-da! Simple as that. Golden retriever look very cute, right? Yeah, right. So, but you know, when it comes to really going on a fight, you don't want a golden retriever on your side. Golden retriever lousy at fighting, man. Just tell you first. Okay? Golden retriever is completely lousy at fighting. You want a Rottweiler to be at your side if you're really going through a fight, right? So the Rottweiler, the thing, and Rottweiler is much more loyal than your golden retriever. Yes, Rottweiler is way much more loyal than golden retriever ever is. Okay, right? So that's just example for you to take a look, right? So second, if we take a look at second level, internal, external, right? So the year and month pillar is an external pillar. This talk about how you interact with the external world. The internal part, which is day and also hour, is talking about how you interact with yourself. Yeah, right. So it's basically your internal quotient, right? So just now told you already, right? The year and the month basically represent your social circle and also your work circle, on the general sense, right? Social circle, work circle. So in the olden day, the year is the society, which is very important because in the olden day, everything is about society because it's talking about how the town would survive. Right? Yeah, in the olden day, it's all about survival of the town. There are no individualism in the olden day. Right? Individualism, no use one. Because why? In the olden day, we understand that, when we are isolated individual, we usually die out in the open. So we already learn how to clan together. Right? Come together as a community to cross-protect each other. So the integrity of the community is very, very important in the olden day. Today, no such thing. Okay? Right? So sometimes all it takes is one lady to destroy the whole kingdom. That is your what we call Jones of wow, who is that? Helen of Troy. That's Helen of Troy, right? So when parenting with a new when partnering with a new colleague, right, then should compare all three levels on only top level. Depend on what you want to do lah, dev more, right? So now in any sort of business work, is what role do you need that person to play is more important than anything else, right? What role do you need that person to play? So if the BaZi chart does not have the quotient for that particular role, you ask him to come in to play that role, is called suicidal. Right? So you need to find a natural quotient for that particular role that is. So this is why you need to understand what role it is. You cannot just put that particular method of trying to find your matching animal sign. That is the sure suicidal way of doing partnership. Confirm die. Okay? Confirm doesn't work. Right, so back to the internal, external. All right, so the external is how you deal with outside people. Now, if you want to analyze a person's capacity to earn money, it's all external, yang side. That's it. Inside, very little to earning money capacity. Right, external. Because why? You want to earn money. The money is always in somebody else's pocket. It's never in yours, unless you tell me your job is to print money. If not, right, you have to earn money from the other side. So, how does the other side give you the money? You have to have certain competency that the other side doesn't have, that they are willing to trade money for your competency or for your product. Right? Makes sense, right? Very easy. So please don't get confused with this. When you're reading that time, right, about earning money, no need to read day and hours. Don't waste your time. Right? Day and hours doesn't really hold any water in terms of earning money. Earning money is all external. It's an external activity, must engage external. Money is in somebody else's pocket, must take from somebody else's pocket. No matter how good internally you are, no use one. Right? So now when you talk about internal, it's really internally how you talk about yourself, right? So like for example, the day is how you feel about relationship related matter. The day actually measured your relationship quotient. Okay? Life palace and conception palace throw inside a rubbish bin. 4 pillar also you cannot handle. You want to handle the 5th and 6th pillar, right? So all that's throw inside rubbish bin. No use one that together, right? Only on specific things that is usable, right? So if you are still alive, if you are dealing with humanly stuff, the 4 pillars is enough. So if you are concentrating more on money making, month and year. So if you are more concentrating on personal development, character development, then day and hour, right? So does character development help you with your money making? Yes, it does. right? Yes, it does that, right? So to build a much more stable internal characteristic, but the people who pay you money, right, do they care about your internal stability? They don't. Yeah, you buy a bowl of curry noodle, right? Do you really care if the auntie that's selling the curry noodle is happy or sad? She happy or sad might affect the quality of the curry noodle, but from your perspective, do you care? You don't, right? You don't go to the curry noodle store and first thing you do is, auntie, today how are you feeling, auntie? Right? Got argue with husband today. Aiyo, your children not very obedient today. Aiyo, auntie, I feel you. Then only you buy a bowl of noodle from the floor. No, right? You go there, you sit down, curry noodle, give you money, I eat curry noodle, I chow. Right? Got any emotional interaction between you and auntie? No, don't have. Do you need any emotional interaction? No, doesn't need anything. Same thing when you go to work. Right? Same thing when you go to work. Is it fair that you go to work? You carry your burden or whatever is emotionally affecting you to your office, and you affect everybody. So no one like that. So that's why the day and hour doesn't really do anything, right? So the hour talk about how you think about your future, right? So I usually say that anything that is being created by you goes into the hour. Right? Aspiration, ambition, right? So you see how your aspiration, ambition, does it highly augment what people will pay you? No, everybody have ambition of becoming a millionaire. But why not everybody become millionaire? Because why? The thing that you deliver out to the market does not match a millionaire. That's all only. You think of wanting to have a millionaire. There's a lot of things. A lot of people want to achieve success. A lot of people want to do a lot of things. But when it comes to actual execution, you will see they fall short flat on the floor. Yeah, they will come up with tons of excuses of not doing things. All right. So you want to take a look at internal, external, right? So it's basically that, right? So external side is yang, internal side is basically yin. So again, right, when we talk about yin, mean that it requires a little bit of time to observe, understand. Yang, no need, straight away can see one. Right? So the year and month straight away can see. Does it mean that it's better to have wealth star in the year pillar because money earned from external? Yeah. Year pillar wealth star is the one that earn the most amount of money. Biggest amount of money is basically wealth star in the year, but usually year margin is very small. Big volume, small margin, right? Whereas hour is big margin but small volume. So hour is like intellectual property, right? Intellectual property type, right? So intellectual property you earn big margin because intellectual property no costing, pure margin. So if you take a look at intellectual property, it's usually pure margin. But when you talk about the year, public, there usually is a lot of cost. That is, things. It is not the absolute selling price. It's actually just the margin only, right? So if not yet meet anybody, right? One relationship. Look at year pillar first. Look at year pillar first. The day pillar is talking about you allowing somebody to come into your inner realm to understand you. So, a lot of time when you talk about relationship, what we call reading, so we will use combine as a way, because combine means that you're welcoming the energy. So now either you use the 6 combo or the 3 harmony combine, doesn't matter at this current moment. Got different, got. Okay, so it's either 3 harmony or 6 combo. This is the time whereby you welcome the energy into your inner sanctum. It's easier for you to let people come in. So that's why if you are pursuing someone, you are trying to go into the inner sanctum of the other person to understand the person truly. You find the time whereby it's combined for the other party. You make a proposal at that point in time, it's easier. But if you just want to meet someone, year pillar, right? Meet somebody. So you start the entire process by meeting someone. So you need to start from the year pillar first. Right, so just start from the year pillar. So if your peach blossom is in the year pillar, it's actually the best place to attract people. Your peach blossom is in the day pillar, not much use one. Just tell you first. Okay. Right, so this year is snake, right? If snake in our pillar, does it mean that you can earn more this year from investment? No, Grand Duke just mean higher pressure. That's it. Higher pressure, higher demand, higher expectation. Doesn't not mean more or less. If you have snake inside your hour pillar, this year is snake year, chances of you overthinking everything is basically freaking high. normal circumstances like this, I will usually tell you don't invest. Your processing not very clean, right? You want to invest, your processing better be clear. All right, so if not yet meet anybody, right, want a relationship, look at year pillar. If already talking, already WhatsApp often, look at day pillar. Yes, look at day pillar, but don't look at your one. You look at your one, it's just you are desperate for the relationship. Don't use look at the other party. When is the other party better in terms of it, right? So but anyway, within the 12 month, you will know that there's 1 month is combined one, right? Target that particular month, that's all, right? How to see combined? I've already explained all the combined one, right? We have gone through all the basic, combination, clash, harm, everything. Go back to read those kind of video. Okay, cool, easy, right? So this is internal, external again, right? So now you got 2 level, upper, lower, internal, external, left and right, internal, external. So if you combine them together, so you know the year stamp on top, which is the most external, most yang one, that one is confirmed, people can see. That is the part that usually nobody can hide, right? So the hour branch, which is the most yin and most yin one, that is usually the most difficult to understand, right? Pitch in hour pillar, no use for romantic relationship. You got very beautiful thought lah, you want to say. You want to say got very beautiful thought lah. That's maybe right. So this means both combine and clash play big role in BaZi. Combine and clash, the interaction usually is the easiest to identify. Easiest to identify, right? So especially clash. Clash is very easy to identify, right? So clash usually is very loud. It's like, again, 2 cars banging onto each other, very difficult for you to get confused over the situation. So that's why clash usually is the scary one, right? So it's more scary one is out in the open, you get to see, right? So other level, yin and yang, right? So the element, now we are concentrating on 1 box. So the element got 2 parts, right? So just now is upper, lower part, then external, internal part. So the yin and yang already. Then in a box, when we talk about the element, there's 2 components. One is the element itself, which is the yang part of it, right? So element usually you can also identify pretty easily. So you can identify a person who has a fire element versus a person who has a water element, very easily can identify. Fire element in your face, usually get excited much more faster. Water element usually a bit more recursive, a bit mysterious. You want to use the word mysterious, right? So it's a bit more mysterious, right? So you can already identify. So like for example, this one, Kui water is in demand. So the person will be a little bit more recursive, more what we call mysterious at work, right? But when you talk about the year, right? So because it's Jiawood, right? So Jiawood, then they have a very different, you can see that in the social setting, the fella is a little bit more rigid, right? So in terms of, getting friend also, this particular person is a little bit more rigid, but at work, pretty flexible. At work, become Kui water, pretty flexible, right? So now the second level is that there is an interaction, right? There is an interaction between the day master with the element, right? So which translate to what you call 10 God. The 10 God is just elemental interaction, right? So which means that a Bing fire seeing a Kui water versus a Jia wood seeing a Kui water versus a Ren water seeing a Kui water, although the Kui water remain the same, you would still see that this particular person is a bit recursive, a bit mysterious, but all the 3 of them is recursive and mysterious in their own special, unique way. So when you understand the 10 God interaction, right? So like for example, friend star, right? So you take a look at the friend star is the interaction. So the interaction is the yin part, right? So again, right? The yin part, you need to spend some time to understand, to observe. It's not something that is clearly observable, right? So again, when you talk about something that is not clearly observable, the person would understand, but the people on the outside may not. So which means people on the outside may not know the person's 10 God characteristic, but they would know the person's elemental characteristic. Does Kui water in Man Heaven stem also look suspicious? Not exactly lah, right? Not exactly. Like for example, Jiawood with Kui water in the Man is actually good, because it's their resource star, right? It's their resource star. They actually look very knowledgeable. it actually sends a signal or knowledgeable to them. Right, so the person, the Kui water for the Jiawu is a person who is a little bit more careful. At work, is a little bit more careful, doesn't go crazy all the time, a bit more steady, a bit more chill. Right, so when you know the person a bit deeper, you find out that, oh, this particular person has a certain amount of wisdom there. Right, so but if you're talking about a let's say a Bing fire, right? So Bing fire, then this become the O to that fellow already. Then it's very different. You will still see that this particular person is cautionary, a bit reserved. You still see the same characteristic, but it's cautionary on different level. It's cautionary on the attacking level. It's like waiting for a opportunity to whack. You see when hitting is better. Right, because those are anyway influence star, right? So that's how we see that. So Yang fire and Yang water is excess outward energy, means everything exposed, but fire and water destruction cycle, does it clash? Yes, it does. It does clash, but again, it depends on what is reading here. Right, exposed also you need to see whether is heavily on the day and hour. So you see, if the most of the energy or predominant energy is heavily on day and hour, it doesn't really affect the fellow work one, because why? People can't see, right? People can't see that you're internally crazy. But if you are overly tilted on the year and month, you look a bit overbearing on the outside, but you could be very calm on the inside, right? You could be somebody who is really steady in private, but out in the open, it's just a bit more kanjiang. No right, no wrong, just tell you first, right? It's just where you see. So if let's say that everything was overly burdened on the top, which means that on top is all one element, overly burdened now, right? So 4 boxes, 3 of them is the same element. So you will see that outward display is this type, but actually when you know the person a little bit better, right, the fellow have different color. Okay, right? So if you are talking to a person, or whatever that you are doing in the person, don't just take one snapshot of the person and mark everything. Right, so that's why looking at BaZi chart is good, because you see everything. So you see that, oh no, now I understand why you do things outside, you do things in such a manner, is because your BaZi chart is tilting you towards that particular area. So when you understand that, it's easy for you to do augmentation. In certain scenario, probably you need to actually lean on to this particular thing and go that direction. Right, so like for example, if your chart is HO very heavy, HO very heavy is very good for public performance, all those kind of things. But if this is a public performance scenario, then heavy HO is good, you see. But if this is not a public performance scenario, heavy HO is bad. So you need to know this scenario lean on is good or not, this scenario don't lean is good or not. You tweak, right? You tweak, and you need to know this one is an internal situation, external situation. This is a public situation, private situation. All those you need to know lah. Okay, right? So Yin-Wood and Man stem. The person is changing decision all the time. Yin-Wood actually is not about changing decision. It's about flexibility of adapting to the situation. It's not changing. The objective of the Yin-Wood has always been the same, which is survival. Right, so if let's say it's the month, right, so we talk about career. So career here, the fella know who to park lah. If now Mr. A is more powerful, the fella got more resources, is actually more in the organization, it's bigger, then you would lean towards Mr. A lor. If right now Mr. B is more powerful, is more influential in the organization, then the fella lean towards B lah. It's not changing decision. The decision is still the same. I want to be with the person who has the most power and most influence. I don't care the person is who. It can be A, B, C, D, and E, because right now I know I don't have power. When you don't have power, you don't have influence, right? You need to park together with somebody who has power and influence. You don't care who that one person is. Yeah, that's all only ma. Right, when you don't have food to eat, right, do you care who give you the food, whether it's neighbor A, B, C, or D that's basically giving you the food? You don't. When you're hungry, you don't care who actually give you the food. You want food, that's it. Your decision has never changed. Survival, food. Who gave me the food? Never mind. Whoever can give me the food, I'm nice to you. Yeah, ma, reciprocal, ma. Right? You give me something that I want, I service you. That's all. Nothing wrong with Yi Wood. Please don't get that wrong conception. No, Yi Wood change decision. Yi Wood doesn't change decision. It's what you see only. What you see, like, oh, they can change over, like no loyalty. But here's the thing, the fella is loyal to themselves. That's all only, man. Right, so Quiwater, man, heaven stem, become ping fire. That means this guy talk a lot. Huh? What Quiwater become ping fire? This guy like to talk a lot. To the other, if don't understand. Right? If got run in man, right? Run in hour, consider heavier. Run in man, run in hour, pretty heavy already. Quite. But also need to take a look at the rest. If let's say the rest is all earth, then the 2 run basically got no root, then it's not too powerful, right? Pork chop. Right, so this is another level of yin and yang for you to take a look, right? So the elemental level versus the interaction level, right? So yin and yang, right? This is also what you need to understand when you are doing a reading. Right, so there's another yin and yang here, your natal chart versus your luck pillar. So your luck pillar is considered as a yang pillar, right? Because why? Your luck pillar move, anything that's moving is yang. So your natal chart never moves, so it's yin. Right, so the luck pillar usually talk about periodic demand, right? At that particular time, what is popular at that particular time, what is required. Right, so it's a very important pillar in the olden day, because in the olden day, if the luck pillar arrangement is wrong, you're fucked, man. Because in the olden day, changing things is next to impossible. Today, very easy to change things. Okay, today very easy to change. Right, I don't like lean towards anybody means I am a stupid idiot. Also not. Right, so you could probably be what we call losing out on certain things that is advantageous, right? So there's no way for you to do anything in this world without leaning on to somebody else. You cannot have everything, right? Like just now I told you, right? If you want to earn money, right, you want to earn from where? Somebody else's pocket, lah. Right? So if you're gonna spend 1 hour servicing a person, you want to spend 1 hour servicing the person with no money or servicing the person with got money. Very obvious, right? That is called leaning towards, right? That is called leaning towards leveraging over and all. What about Keng metal in month and Yi wood in year? Siwa, if you ask like that, right, until end of the year also I cannot finish lah. Right? There's so many, right? So that's why that one, you please go and study your Keng metal, characteristic of the Keng metal. You go and study the characteristic of Yi wood, then you put in the Yi wood in the year. What does that mean? You put in the Keng inside the month. What does that mean? You have to do this sort of analysis on your own. Right? Cannot be everything you ask people to analyze for you. Then what's the point of you learning this? You may as well just pay a consultant to talk to you faster. Right, back to this one, right? So back to the yin and yang, right? So you can see that there's another level of yin and yang, right? So the natal chart, usually I call it the production factory. The luck pillar, usually I call market demand. Right? So if your production factory and market demand can support each other, usually you say good luck, lor. If you cannot support each other, bad luck, lor. Right? So it's bad luck in the olden day because you cannot do augmentation. Cannot do augmentation means your town is a farmer town. What do you expect? Farmer produce lah, right? So if that point in time, they require fishery produce, you're dead. Simple enough, right? But today, if let's say that, your town is a farmer town, there's no such thing as a farmer town, by the way. Today, right? If the general market requires certain thing, go learn lah. Right? Go learn. The only difference is that if your natal chart doesn't have that particular element, it's harder for you to learn. Right? So today, 2 ways to do so. One is brute learning. Take longer time, start earlier, start way much earlier, spend more time than other people. Learn before the luck pillar come in. Okay, do that. Right, so that's one way. Number 2 is quickly go and find somebody who has that energy signature and make sure that particular person can work with you lah. Then when the luck pillar come in, you push the idiot to answer the luck pillar for you lah. Right, that's the power of employment, right? So why business person usually is okay, because business person know how to do this, right? When you're talking about running a business, you are creating an employment environment for other people, which means that you get to use other people bazi chart. Yeah, you are buying other people bazi chart to come in and handle your luck pillar situation. Nothing wrong, man. Right? Correct or not? Right? So that's what you're supposed to do. So that's why you study your luck pillar, is basically to know that, oh, you know, right now, what is basically required? Is it something that I can produce readily? If it's not something that I can produce readily, I need to either acquire, work together, partner with another, you know, entity or another factory that's able to produce this. And hopefully, the best scenario is my BaZi chart is able to produce what that factory is lacking. Right, so both of us together is able to address a market. So in car making mean that, you know, you make car body, I make car engine. So we come together, we work together, we produce car to be sold to the public. People need car, right? Car cannot be just body and cannot be just engine, right? It need to be put together. So you are an engine manufacturer, I'm a body manufacturer. We work together, right? So the market buy our car. That is the best law. If not, then your factory need to learn how to make body law. That's all. Right? Your body need to make a body law, which means that, you know, you need additional resources and all of that. Right? So now you can see that, you know, there's 4 levels of yin-yang just in the BaZi chart, right? So upper part, bottom part, left, right. So external, internal, left, right. Element, interaction, natal chart, luck pillar. All yin-yang, 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 yin-yang. So you can see that everything is yin-yang. Okay, difficult, man. Right? So Trinity is basically circumstance, person, and also your BaZi chart. Right? So that's basically the Trinity of things. Right? So let's take a look. Right? For example, you know, so like both of this is BMW. What's the difference? Got different or not? I asked you, definitely got lah. Now from externally, if you take a look at it, the only difference you can identify is color. It's this same model. If you take a look at it, the model is the same. Right? Tell me, 2020 model versus a 2024 model got different or not? Engine very different already. I'll just tell you first. The engine, the mechanism, the working inside. So which means an older model BMW of the same series, which externally usually look the same. Okay? Versus a newer model of a series, right? So the internal compartmentalization or the internal things inside is different already, right? So what if one is driven by a lady, another one is driven by a guy? Even bigger difference, right? Right now it's even bigger difference. No, not fair. Guy and girl supposed to be, you know, smell different. Correct. Right. Right. So no, yeah, you know, smell difference, right? So that is also correct. Right, depend. You know, olden one they use real leather. The newer one, many of them have changed to synthetic leather. So synthetic leather, after you have put it under the sun, right? Biggest problem with Malaysia weather is very hot. If you have any of this European car, you put it under the sun, right? Electronic will go dead. All the hose will basically go burst, right? So that's why BMW is notorious for lao yao. Right, oil leakage, notorious for this, because why? The hose, somehow the hose that they use cannot tahan the weather, right? So they are leakage and also electronic melt. Very notorious one, BMW. This is not built for our weather, right? So that's why you buy a Japanese car, right? It hardly got any problem, because the Japanese car is designed and, you know, built for the, you know, hot weather, whereas the European car is not. Right? Different, that's the different, right? So also the same thing I tell you, right? So the outside of the car look the same, the engine may be different, right? You don't know, you know, which year versus which year. You know, one maybe was 3 years ago, this one 3 years later. If the driver was a guy and a girl, you see the difference, right? So tell me, the internal, you know, if the one guy is, you know, just found a new girlfriend versus the girl just lost a boyfriend, do you think the performance of the car is going to be very different? Right, so you can see your year, month, day, and also hour basically in the car represent that. External look is your year, right? So that one everybody also can see, right? Maybe your upper stem is the car color. The bottom stem is the car shape. The upper stem is the car color. Car color, you know, damn obvious. 10 kilometers away, you can identify. This is the BMW blue color, right? Right, but the model of the BMW, maybe you need to be, you know, a bit closer, watch a bit first, then only you know. Okay, so then the month is basically the engine. engine internal, whatever is inside the internal, right? So basically engine, whatever inside the internal. Then the day is the driver, and the hour is the mental state of the driver, right? So now you can see when we talk about Qimen, right? So Qimen is a lot about mindset. Do you know that Qimen plotation is actually using hour one? You plot Qimen chart, you use hour to plot, right? BaZi is a time stamp. Qimen uses hour to plot. So can you see why Qimen is a mindset tool? Whereas Feng Shui is a very external, because Feng Shui uses year to plot. It still uses the same BaZi chart, which is a timestamp. BaZi chart is a timestamp only, right? Feng Shui uses the year, Qimen uses the hour. Hour represent internal thinking mindset, the year represent external. Can you see Feng Shui is an external art, right? And Qimen is an internal art. You want to say Yin-Yang also can, right? Cool, understand, right? So going through Ji Earth luck, got no Ji Earth originally in chart, how to learn to be more giving and nurturing. More importantly, it's actually not giving and nurturing type, not the Earth giving and nurturing. You need to know what is Ji Earth in terms of your chart, right? So if let's say that you are let's say it's a water Ji Earth is basically influence star, it's about leadership. It's about deterministic leadership. So deterministic leadership, go and learn leadership class, that's all, right? Go and do some project management, get yourself some project management class, go and attend some leadership class, supervisory class, all those kind of anything that basically help you to be more deterministic in making decision, right? Go for those kind of classes. Nowadays, everything you can learn, right? So if you don't like to lean, right, means you are fat. Got no lean. Okay, right? So now that's basically about BaZi chart. So when you're reading that time, so if you understand what you want to read, it's very easy to know where to read. Right? So which means that if this particular person is trying to handle money related matter, you already know it's a year month pillar kind of reading, and the fella just want to let people know that he's rich, then it's a stamp thingy. So read the stamp, that's it, right? Right, so month is Bing Fire mean how? What do you mean by month is Bing Fire mean how? Right, I don't know what month Bing Fire means how, Bing Fire mean how. Jezo, why are you right? So why are you repeating the same question every single time? So again, right? So it doesn't mean stupid, it doesn't mean anything. Right, so you don't like to lean, then don't lean. It's just that you are giving up one of the greatest tool set in the world, right? So in today's scenario, there's no way for you to achieve anything big alone. Okay, right? So you need to learn how to leverage other people. So the best people is those people who know how to create an environment for people to earn money. That is the most successful person. So Elon Musk is very successful because he's created many job opportunities for people. That's why he's successful, not because he's brilliant. Right? There's a lot of people more smarter than him, right? But he managed to create a working environment, a business environment for other people to thrive in. Right? He made other people rich. Do you know that? Right? Do you know that he made a lot of people rich? That's it. Simple as that. Okay, cool. Right? So this is for you, for the BaZi, right? So as time goes by, we try to go a little bit deeper in terms of reading. Right, so but at least lah. Alright, so at least right now alright, so BaZi chart got a lot of yin and yang. Alright, so portion of it, right? So Qimen also got their yin and yang, right? So and the what we call Feng Shui also got their version of yin and yang. Every single one of them basically work on the what we call the principle of yin and yang. Right? So if you understand yin and yang very well, it's actually very easy to apply this. Right? It's just that a lot of people just have a very skewed understanding of yin and yang. They only know good, bad. Yin and yang is more than good and bad, right? So it's a big, very huge category of things that we can handle with yin and yang, right? So again, do not ever, go into the state whereby, you believe that there's such thing as good or bad. No such thing, right? Good and bad is only deterministic on the situation in hand. Something that's good in this situation may be bad in another. something that's very bad in another situation is very good in this. Okay, right? So the idea, once you understand all the yin and yang, all the thing, right? Put yourself in a position whereby you are in advantage. Go to a place where people value you. Then you win. Simple, right? Wing fire is generous, right? But can be arrogant and jealous. Forming own cliques and also fire encourage effort, right? So okay, again, right? So okay, that's it. Right, so yes, Kaing, everything depends on action. If you don't do anything, right, any information also no use at all. And that's the biggest problem with the thing that has been sold by Chinese metaphysics. You know, they encourage a lot of people to do nothing. So Elon Musk carry high rock wealth element if he's able to gather people to create job opportunity. So Athena, no need to guess. Just go and plot Elon Musk's BaZi chart and take a look at it. Right, so you start to understand his working mechanism. You just want to understand the person's working mechanism. Oh, so you know this is how this particular person work, right? So then you know it's good lah, right? Also ask the right question. Question actually don't have right or wrong. It's just that some question is a bit more non-advantage to answer. It doesn't give you the right information. Okay, that's